Milestyle hailing frequencies are open.
Okay, we're on.
The opinions expressed in tonight's podcast are those of the individuals speaking. They do not necessarily reflect the views of HarrisFilm Productions or its other crew members.
Greetings, this is Steve Harry Harris and the HarrisFilm crew with another fan film review. Tonight we have with us Ken Mays, special guest Ian Burke, and our regular Roy Ivey. HarrisFilm has entered the 2024 Showrunner Awards and were 2 of 27 entries. I'm not sure exactly what specific awards that they put themselves in for. Tonight, we're going to watch a film called Legacy of the Enterprise B.
Captain's Log Stardate 48156.1. The Resolute is undergoing scheduled maintenance on its warp drive, so, with that downtime, I decided to indulge a little. It's day 3 of the White Star Seminars, a hub of scientific and engineering speakers from across the Federation. The speakers this year are well worth the not insignificant travel time. Captain Scott and Admiral Uhura are headliners, both as lovely as their reputations suggest. Dr. Zimmerman and Captain Wrighton talks were surprise hits, and for me, the seminar with Lieutenant Hunter, someone whose writings on temporal mechanics I've followed for years, was a real treat. You can sometimes feel isolated in command. Here, the mix of people and ideas is refreshing. I should get away more often, when missions allow.
Oh, sorry. Have you been standing there long, Captain?
I lost track.
I always get lost in the family history.
I can see that. Joan Keller. We met yesterday at the engineering seminar. Briefly, anyway.
Yes, hello. Pleased to meet you. Would you like to join me?
I was pondering your question to Captain Scott. A ship that can split, and each unique hull act independently. Fully warp capable, fully equipped. Very ambitious.
Well, given how useful saucer separation has been in the past, I wanted to know his thoughts on developing the idea fully.
Yes, I can speak to that. Not an order you ever want to give.
I'd like to never be in that situation myself. If I can ask, what happened to your ship?
I saved my crew. That's the important thing. So, you're a Harriman. Any relation to Captain John Harriman?
Great granddad, family hero, and captain of the next Enterprise after... Well, it's hard to get more famous.
A long and exciting career. Hero to many of us, in fact. He was fearless in his search of the unknown.
Well, my parents have done some amazing things too. As a family, we've been very lucky.
A legacy to live up to, then?
Well, there's a certain level of expectation. But all I can be is me, and I'm doing my best.
I wrote my final year academy dissertation on the Enterprise B. Their exploration of the Psychic expanse. Still envious of what they found.
Well, there's a trillion lights in the night sky. I don't think we'll ever explore them all.
I hope not. I'd be out of a job. I don't have much interest in non-science missions. Call me picky, but I know my calling.
Well, I'm an engineer, so I just go where the jobs are.
Any interest in the centre seat, like John?
Captain Sam Harriman. Doesn't sound quite right. Chief Harriman, now that's got a much nicer ring to it.
It does indeed. I don't know if you'd be interested. Do you have a week of seminars?
I've seen all I came for, why?
On the way here I realised White Star Station is only 0.5 light years from Mendrax 2.
One of the Enterprise B's closer to home missions. And still an unsolved mystery as far as I know.
It's very close. I was considering taking a look.
That would be amazing. But by shuttlepod it would take days. I don't have that much leave.
There and back in a day by runabout. Perks of being a captain. I can requisition the one here. It's available, I checked. Interested?
When do we leave?
Within the hour. Bay 2. Bring your tricorder.
Ensign Sam Harriman, personal log supplemental. I found myself on an unexpected and very welcome detour. Captain Keller has got us a Warp 5.8 express trip to Mendrax 2. I've only visited a couple of John's mission locations, despite being close to several over the years. Work always got in the way. This, however, this is going to be fun. I found the Oasis. It's still there. Looks unchanged at first scan.
No ship has actually surveyed this in over 30 years.
Or maybe we can solve the mystery. Couple of hours? Should be easy.
A man after my own heart. See if you can get us closer. I want to get the most detailed readings possible.
Yes, Captain.
A whole world of sand and heat. Yet just one single acre of life as we know it. No apparent technology, just life.
Selective terraforming?
Perhaps. Bit of a type we've never seen before. And why leave the rest of the planet?
And how is it still surviving the planetary elements?
I'd rather this sort of mission any day.
I've got Captain Harriman's log here. Captain's log, stardate 10459.2. The Enterprise has found signs of life on a Class H planetoid. Starfleet is considering establishing a starbase in this sector, so we've been tasked to survey the region. It was Demora who noticed anomalous readings on the long-range sensors, an area of vegetation on an otherwise desolate planet. I'm leading an away team to the surface. I think this needs a closer look.
I think I can see something unusual with the new multispectral scans. Sending to your station.
Confirmed. Barely registering, but it's there.
Even if it doesn't explain how or why, it's still one step in the right direction.
Can I make a suggestion? You probably won't think it's a good idea.
Go ahead, Ensign. I'm prepared.
We only have a few hours, and this is a golden opportunity. I suggest we beam down to the surface and investigate.
Skipping a few steps there, Ensign.
We know it's safe. Captain Harriman beamed down without incident.
We know it was safe, but the clock is ticking, and these new scans suggest the Oasis is still safe.
You want to beam down too?
On this occasion, I believe the risks are minimal. Prepare the transporter, Ensign.
Yes, Captain. Better than a holodeck.
The air smells sweet.
The plant life is healthy and thriving.
Yet just beyond those trees, sand for thousands of kilometres.
A magic garden.
Multiple readings. Clearly artificial. Stay alert, Ensign.
Why couldn't the runabout detect them?
We can assume this place will hold more surprises. Technology could suggest a presence here. Let's take it slow. Harriman, look at this.
Enterprise era?
That's the Star Trek
Scan
5
suggests-
assault phaser.
Ah, 5.
It's from the
Okay.
Enterprise B.
Captain Harriman's reports mention no incidents.
It's still in full working condition, no damage or corrosion.
Why would it be left behind? What happened here?
Nothing out of the ordinary. It's just an old phaser.
Equally normal. 2 items, separated. No signs of an incident.
Evidence?
Did you hear what I said?
Sorry, Captain. I was lost in thought.
Our window's about up. We need to get back to the Eclipse.
I thought we had 30 minutes.
We had 30 minutes. Have you just been standing here the whole time?
Yeah.
Apparently so.
Guess so.
I'm sorry, Captain.
I'll say. We can look over our readings en route. Take one last look. Keller to Eclipse. 2 to beam up.
If he's like nodding off, maybe he shouldn't be holding the phaser.
Well, that's something.
What's it? Did I hear somebody say, and so are you?
Really can't mean anything else. Captain Keller, I've got some amazing news.
Me too. I'll join you. With that expression, you can go first.
This phaser, I've double, triple, quadruple checked. This was used by John himself.
Any
That's
idea
his
why it was left
DNA.
behind?
None at all, but it was his.
He
Really
keeps
his.
pointing it at
An
her.
amazing souvenir.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, more than that.
My news. I think I found a possible answer for the Oasis. I'm not claiming it's the answer, but it's more than anyone's found so far.
I can see why you made captain.
I found bioplasma traces, microscopic. Their decay rate lines up with the formation of the Oasis, which I was able to calculate with even more precision. That makes a big difference here. I ran a predictive model based on our multispectral scans and my detailed tricorder readings. I was thorough in the little time we had.
Sounds it. So, Magic Garden, was I right?
More than you realise. I bet 5 strips of gold-pressed latinum. Terraforming beans.
I'm an engineer, not a farmer.
I think an alien race, very advanced, used some form of organic technology and tested their terraforming on this planet. I found traces of what appeared to resemble beans implanted on the surface, and an oasis was formed.
Beans?
Reminds me of the old Earth story Jack and the Beanstalk. Except this doesn't lead to another magical land. It was created through terraforming.
Any idea who could have done this?
I couldn't begin to speculate. But it worked. The vegetation is capable of surviving despite being surrounded by barren land. It's remarkable.
Well, sounds like there's a paper to be written on this. Maybe this time next year I'll be attending your seminar.
My grandmother was a university professor. Perhaps I inherited her seminar gene. Speaking of White Star Station, we're only 2 hours away. We should be back for the party tonight. Gone around the universe is the theme. Not sure what that means, but I'm sure we'll find out.
2 hours. Time enough for dinner? Would you care to join me?
I'd love to.
Thank you for suggesting this trip, Captain. It's really meant a lot to me.
You're very welcome, Ensign. Sometimes, as captain, you forget what it's like to just be Starfleet. That planet, that oasis, I may have just solved an age-old mystery. And if not, it was still fun.
Samuel Hawkins. That guy is in like literally everything.
Yeah, I know. Too bad Victor was one of the main VFX guys.
A lot of fans.
Wow.
Okay. So, what'd you guys think?
I think it was interesting.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's pretty in depth for you, Ken. I don't know. That kind of blew my mind. Roy?
Point of information. What I thought I was paying attention. Why don't we know what happened on the planet? What happened to Harriman at that point? Now, I assumed he survived. It's not like he went missing at that point, was it? Why don't we know the rest?
I think that's part of the whole mystique of the story is that this character is discovering something new about an ancestor of his, right? Didn't he a Harriman? Okay, so
yeah.
But you have a valid question. I don't know that much about Captain Harriman myself, so I'm not sure exactly where they're going with this story. Good point. Good questions.
The only time we've actually seen Captain Harriman was in Star Trek Generations, and then we saw him again in the fan film of Gods and Men.
Right.
Although I think that was an alternate Harriman from a parallel universe.
It might have been.
Of Gods and Men was a prime timeline, I think.
What? But was it?
You had two timelines. Okay, of Gods and Men started in our prime timeline, and then Charlie went on his quest for revenge, kills Kirk, and creates an alternate timeline. So we saw
that's right.
Harriman from both timelines.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Ian, what did you think about this film?
It was interesting, and I agree with Roy. They left a lot of open mysteries. Like, yeah, we find out it was the reason for the Oasis, but we never find out why Harriman left his comm badge and his phaser behind. Who was he shooting at? What happened there?
Right.
We just find out, oh, the Oasis was planted. Well,
yeah, the one thing that bothered me about it was you can tell when people that don't know anything about firearms try to have a firearm or a similar thing.
This.
Yeah, it's like he was flagging her constantly with the weapon,
Yeah.
You know, and it's like if it
It's
was
fully
real,
functional.
yeah, if it was real, she would have been grabbing the nozzle and pointing it away from herself.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen what these things can do. I
What
mean, on the right
what will you
setting, they
point this
vaporize
thing?
you.
They're from somewhere in the United Kingdom, so they're not used to handling weapons, you know. So I've
It's
been around
obvious.
firearms enough that, you know, if I had one and I knew it was live, I would be damned careful with it.
The power
Right.
still was
Even if the thing was in a powered down state, with a real firearm, you're still trained to treat it as though it is loaded at all times,
Yeah, there's
and don't point
with
it at anything that you. So you always keep it pointed in the direction of least damage, because you never know when something might happen.
and with a projectile weapon, you're always assuming that there's a round in the chamber.
Yeah.
So,
So
Roy,
with a phaser, you always assume there's a live power pack in it,
right.
and
Even
you
if it's
keep
on safety.
you keep your finger off the trigger, and you keep the muzzle averted away from other people, because
Right.
you don't want to accidentally vaporize your CO.
Yeah, that would
very,
ruin
very
everybody's
bad.
day.
Yeah, I think Ken is right. My other point is we have a missing 30 minutes, approximately, you know, where he just dozed off. Now, I could believe if he could stood there for 5 minutes without realizing, you know, that he was spacing out. But it's too significant of a plot point to not have be resolved, you know.
I think that's actually coming up
I
in another
suspected
story.
involvement, time shifting, mind control,
Right.
some other divergence at that point, and we don't get that. All we get is that he kind of spaced out, you know. And
See, I suspect that there's another story that's going to be built on this. Maybe I'm wrong. If
Well,
I'm
we know-
wrong, take this as a suggestion.
We know the Kazenti had legends of weapons being haunted by their former owners.
Well, that's true.
oh,
What I was
okay.
thinking though is that the people who created the planet, you know, who did the geoforming or whatever it's called, the transformation on the planet, actually also can shift through time. I was curious why I thought that he said it was like it was brand new.
They said it was like brand new, and that you can imply something there. Okay.
Right.
First of all, if that thing is an oasis and you just plant an oasis and you leave it for there, what keeps the water from vaporizing? There's something there, some kind of technology maintaining that. They don't just plant that, because the water would just vaporize into the rest of the atmosphere. So there's some kind of stasis thing going on there. The phaser doesn't age. The bubble stays.
Right.
There's some form of entropic.
And he's able to learn.
Field.
He's able to lose 25 minutes. So all those things kind of fit together. So maybe there is some overarching idea there.
Yeah. See, that's why I was saying, Samuel, if you're not thinking of that way, hello, there's another episode out there in the planning that maybe we actually experience those 30 minutes as 30 days, and he's made to forget what happened. You know, he's actually in another reality or another time, experiencing something with his ancestor. And because of the rules of time travel, he's not allowed to remember what happened. You know, it's just a suggestion. That's what I would have done, but it would have been another episode, because these things are already 15, 20 minutes long. So, you know.
Well, I think Harriman has been really changed over time. It's funny how they've really cleaned up the Harriman name as the initial Enterprise B. And the fans have actually done that. You know,
right.
In fan films, in novelizations, I've seen him come in as a character many times, and he's basically redeemed. Hey, he was He was a freshman captain in an impossible situation, and he wasn't as inept as he appeared.
Right.
In that particular movie, that was just his function.
Next Thursday.
Yeah. See, I think he was just such a
He
big
got a bad deal.
fanboy. You know, he was a big Kirk fanboy, and he just was so gobsmacked that Kirk was actually on his ship that he couldn't even function. So, but that was my take on him. And then to have Kirk disappear, I mean, that had to ruin your career.
Yeah.
You know, we like what you're doing. Everybody have a two thumbs up.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Good movie, guys.
So, in closing, congratulations. And we are looking forward to your next film.
Visit Samuel Hawkins over on his channel. So good night from
Ken Mays. Special guest, Ian Burke. And our regular Roy Ivey.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed our show. We try to do something to make your day better every time we show up.
Fresh.
Good evening, everybody.
A sound check over at, what was the name of the place you were doing?
Historic Club 66 in Edgewood, Maryland.
Starring
Pete Best, formerly of the Beatles.
There you go. What a cool job.
Hailing frequencies are closed. Transmission complete.